Hi, Dr. Eseryel here. Remember that in the when we were talking about systems development lifecycle planning phase, we mentioned that the analysis strategy had two steps: identify opportunity and then analyze the feasibility. In chapter one, we talk about these two bullet points under step one. So where does this opportunity that we identify, where does it come from? So the main reasons for IS projects are to not for information technology's sake, but to fulfill a business need, enable a business initiative or a strategy, support growth through mergers and acquisitions, fix an issue that has been problematic for the company. And sometimes companies look out for new technologies such as big data and then big data technologies, and then they say, how can we use this to gain competitive advantage in our field? And that therefore they start a new project. And lastly, and very often, a business process management turns uh, into a new opportunity for a business project. So I want to first introduce to you what business process management means. And to do that, let's go back to a previous concept that I had introduced you to, a business process. What was a business process? When we thought of a business process, I wanted you to think of step after step after step towards a goal, towards an outcome. So we gave this funny example. So if that's business process, how do you manage that business process? You manage a business process by continuously watching the business process happen and continuously improving the business process. For example, if this funny situation, funny business process took place, then whenever you're hungry, you go through these steps of buying ingredients, putting some in a pan, cooking, and then putting leftovers in a fridge because it didn't taste good, and then ordering pizza. Well, to continuously improve that, you would say, look, I'm going through all these nonsense steps, and then at the end I end up ordering pizza anyways. So this should be a two-step process. I'm hungry, I need food, order pizza. Or you can improve the process by saying, learn how to cook better. So you buy ingredients, put some in a pan, cook, and then does it taste good? Answer becomes yes. And then you eat the food you cooked. So it's still, in this case, it's more steps, but it might end up becoming cheaper than ordering pizza and eating home. So business process management is continuously improving business processes. And in big companies, business processes have owners who watch their business processes and who continuously improve them. So how do you do business process management? There are four steps. Well, first of all, it's no brainer. You have to define and map the systems in a business process. So that looks like this little chart on the top right hand side. Step after step, decision points, and then it goes towards an end goal. This many small and medium sized organizations don't do this, mapping the steps in a business process. As a result, they do not know what their process is. For example, if you were to map your business process of cooking, you might find you go to the fridge, get an ingredient, start cooking. Then you go to the fridge, get another ingredient, start putting that in the pan, and then go to another storage area, get some other ingredient, and then you realize, look at how much I'm walking within the kitchen. So you could say, if you map your business process and you note how many times you go back and forth in a different square, then you could say, okay, let's merge these different squares. And then let's have one step that says, bring all the ingredients out of the fridge, bring all the ingredients out of the other storage location, and then start cooking. So this would, therefore, defining and mapping the steps in a business process is very, very important, to go to the next step, which is creating ways to improve on the steps and finding ways to eliminate and consolidating steps. And sometimes you could create or adjust electronic workflows to improve your process. For example, um, for example, if you're doing something very often, you can automate that. Or if you're keeping, for example, all of your cooking items, all your cooking, if you're like me and you have recipes in emails and in pieces of paper, you might say, you know what, I'm gonna get an electronic organizer and put all my recipes in one place, and so I can look at it from my tablet instead of looking up emails every time you need a recipe. So there are, in business process management, there are three ways that you can improve business processes. The one on the bottom of the triangle is business process automation. Just like the example I just gave you about um, putting all your recipes in one digital location, you are basically automating things um, in a way to make it easier for humans to do their work. Sometimes you can automate to the degree that somebody doesn't need to do that work. For example, in the past, it used to be that the person um, who's at the reception would check people in manually. Like every time an employee came, that person had to check in and show that certain people, that employee came in. Now with a badge, with badge systems, you can just scan your badge and then it automates the check-in process. Okay, so that's business process automation. The next step up is business process improvement. If you look at that map, and it's not very legible, but that's not the point. Business process improvement might be where you are eliminating steps, you're merging steps, so that the process becomes more efficient. It becomes overall cost of the process becomes cheaper, etc. And the last way of managing your business process would be business process reengineering. This is a totally new way of thinking about your business processes. So instead of trying to take that map and improve on that business process, you're throwing that out the door and saying, okay, we're going to start from scratch. If we did it completely differently, how would it be? So the reason why we talked about business process management is that these three ways of improving business processes usually come up with an opportunity. They create an opportunity for a new information systems project. And once there's a project, then what's really important is to have two different people, a project sponsor and project manager. They're completely two different people with two different skill sets. A project manager would be knowledgeable about the project management practices, but also about specific systems development and implementation. Project sponsor, on the other hand, is somebody who identifies and defines the project and who creates a business case for the company. They don't necessarily have to have the technical knowledge about the project, and the more higher up in the organization they are, the more powerful they are, the more important, the better it is for the project. What happens is, for example, with a company, we had a project sponsor that had led led one project, um, and what happened is over time the project became more and more expensive, and so a lot of managers said this is too expensive. We had made the business case before, but it cost more and more than we had estimated, so let's kill this project. So how powerful the project sponsor is important in this case to make sure that the to enable that the project doesn't get killed, and that it gets more resources and continues to be done. So project sponsor is crucial.